discipline, you need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
Writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. All right, this is Jessie. I am so happy to be back with you guys. Yeah, I know, I'm a little late. I've been running all over the board lately. And all I can say is I'm doing everything I can. I double as webmaster for KLRN, so I do what I can. I seem to be in 5 places at once at any given moment. Trust me, I know that's not physically possible, but it feels like it. I mean, really. 1 minute I'm taking care of someone else's email reset problem. The next minute I'm squeezing in show prep. Then I'm answering a phone call from my husband about a password to a jointly held account. If that ain't running in circles, I haven't figured out what is. All right, enough of my excuses. I held off broadcasting for a couple hours tonight because, let's be honest, you didn't want me earlier. I was screaming mad, and not about anything I was going to discuss on air. I was just screaming mad. I couldn't get my show prep done. I've been having website troubles with an unaffiliated with the network website. I've been having hosting-related issues with the same website. I've been just bouncing all over God's half acre. So, sorry if I offended anyone with that. Now, I'm just now sending out a tweet, so pardon me. I'm a little bit behind the moment. I do have a lot I want to cover, and I know Rick Robinson and America Off the Rails is on my heels. And I'll bet, Rick, you're out there listening. I'll bet you. I will bet you are. So, all right. Maybe he's not. He may be getting a few other things I heard station manager Ann asked him to take care of. Something about downloads, uploads, archives. I don't know. Wasn't my problem. I checked out. So anyway, I've got a few stories to bring to you. Some of them are really interesting, some of them not so much. So, all right. Now, we've got the station announcement sort of stuff out of the way. We're going to get back to talking about what you listen to me for, the news. So, and I do like to bring you all different kinds of stories, some of which you may not have heard or their social media hasn't brought you. We're going to start off with a story I hadn't heard anything about until I went fishing for show prep. Did you know Thailand has a constitution? It's actually on its 20th one. Well, that was news to me. That really was. That was flat out news to me. A, I didn't know they had a constitution. B, I certainly didn't know they were on their 20th version. So, all right. I've got an audio clip about it. Let's take a listen.
Thai voters have overwhelmingly approved this draft constitution. The critics argue the document will just solidify the military's hold on the government. We'll get to our guests in a moment. First, though, Al Jazeera's Wayne Hayes sets up our discussion from Bangkok.
There was a particularly undemocratic lead-in to the referendum, with campaigning and criticism of the vote and the constitution itself outlawed by the government, and if found guilty, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Indeed, many people were arrested. The army had already tried unsuccessfully to introduce a new constitution after it staged a coup just over 2 years ago, but it was voted down by its own National Reform Council. So it formed a new drafting committee, handpicked the members for that drafting committee to write a new charter, and it was put to a public referendum. The military government says it's on a roadmap to democracy. It will return democracy to Thailand, and there will be a general election towards the end of next year. But exactly what sort of democracy remains to be seen. And critics of the military, critics of this process, say the military has no plans to return democracy to Thailand, and indeed it's really all about entrenching military control. It has no plans to give up that power, that political power that it enjoys. To achieve that, it wants to have the provision for an appointed Prime Minister and an unelected Senate. And in that Senate, the upper house of Parliament, 6 of those seats will be reserved for security forces. Now, what all that means is that it'll be very difficult for a weakened lower house of Parliament to pass any significant laws without the approval of the military. The army, for its part, says that after a decade of political upheaval, which has seen many rounds of violence on the streets, that something needed to change. It has to take the power away from what it calls corrupt politicians who, for years, have run this country with not enough checks and balances. Wayne Hay for Inside Story, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
Yes, that was audio from Al Jazeera, not something you can regularly hear in this country. Now, we all hear the word Constitution, and I know what I think of. First, Second, Fourth Amendment in particular, our freedoms. It doesn't sound like Thailand is getting anywhere near Thailand's constitution even approaches the freedoms we have in this country. Doesn't even come close. So, what can I say? All right. And I highly doubt they do. Like I said, it was news to me that Thailand even had a constitution. I never really thought about what kind of government Thailand had. They're not a country that's on my radar. But this story is and has been. Now, I couldn't find any audio. Trust me, I was all over the place looking for audio on this story. A Turkish admiral seeks asylum in the United States after failed coup. State media says Rear Admiral Mustafa Zeki Ergula is trying to avoid detention in Turkey following a failed coup attempt. A Turkish Rear Admiral on a NATO assignment in the United States has sought asylum in the country after Ankara sought his detention following the failed 15 July coup attempt. State-run news agency has said this without giving a source. Anadullah did not say on Wednesday whether the U.S. had accepted Rear Admiral Mustafa Zeki Ergula's claim, which comes at a time of strained relations between Washington and Ankara. Ergula had been stationed at NATO's Allied Command Transformation in Norfolk. By the way, for the record, Norfolk is the only NATO post in the United States. I did look into this. Ergula has not been heard from since July 22nd when he left the base. And he supposedly left his credentials behind. So, this is an interesting story. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this. And this isn't the only place I found it on Al Jazeera. I also found it on NPR. Turkish admiral sought and failed coup attempt may be seeking asylum in the U.S. Ergula left his military identification at his office in Norfolk, a Turkish embassy official tells NPR, adding that an arrest warrant has been issued for the admiral. Turkish media citing government sources say Ergula is among the pro-coup fugitives. The admiral is still in the United States with his immediate family, according to a U.S. official. He also has family back in Turkey. Side note, I feel for the family left in Turkey. So, alright, for the past year, Ergula worked in Norfolk with NATO Training Command, where he served as Assistant Chief of Staff, focusing on NATO issues that included command and control and how forces sustain themselves in the field. In that job, he traveled to other countries for conferences, including Canada. There are several dozen Turkish officers at NATO command in Norfolk, and no one else has requested asylum, U.S. officials have commented. Scores of generals and admirals have been removed as part of President Erdogan's investigation into the failed coup attempt on July 15th. Some of those generals work closely with U.S. senior officials and other NATO commands. Erdogan blames an elderly Muslim cleric named Fatah Gulen, who has lived in self-imposed exile on an estate in the Pocono Mountains since 1999. Gulen has denied any involvement. Turkish officials are seeking the extradition of Gulen, which is another story. And they have sent boxes of alleged evidence to a U.S. official has reported. So far, the official says the information doesn't provide any detailed information that Gulen played any role in the coup attempt, in which more than 240 people were killed and another 2,200 were wounded. Turkey has launched a series of mass purges suspected Gulen supporters, not only in its armed forces, but also its universities, schools, media, and other institutions. U.S. officials worry about the effect of the purges on Turkey's alliances and its efforts to fight the Islamic State. But even commenting on the purge of generals and admirals can land U.S. officers in hot water with the Turkish government. Last month, General Joe Votel, the top officer at Special Operations Command, said at a public forum he was worried about longer-term impacts from the failed coup attempt on counterterrorism operations and the U.S. relationship with the Turkish military. The next day, Erdogan had to snipe back. Instead of thinking of this country which repelled a coup attempt, you take the side of the coup plotters. The putschist is in your country already, Erdogan said, referring to Gulen. Yes, I had to look up that word. It seems Erdogan is trying to show off his vocabulary skills. All right. I highly doubt the Turkish general is anywhere, or Turkish admiral is anywhere listening to my show. But I am going to mention something. If he is, yeah, stay here. Don't go home. I know your extended family in Turkey might suffer. But at least your wife and your children will be safe. You are here. You are in the land of the free and the home of the brave. An American government, if he puts in an official request for asylum, it's the least we can do. All right. Speaking of Turkey. So, Turkey and Russia have been trying to make up. Oh, yeah. Now this one, I do have an audio clip. So, let's take a listen.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Rochelle Carey. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has arrived in Russia. His visit is widely seen as an attempt to improve relations between the two countries after months of tensions. Erdogan's government is still dealing with the aftermath of last month's failed coup. But it says relations with Russia are important, particularly in the continuing efforts to bring a solution to the war in Syria. The visit comes at a time when Turkey's ties with the European Union and the U.S. appear to be cooling off. Erdogan has been criticized over his huge crackdown on thousands of alleged coup plotters. This has included civil servants such as military personnel, judges, teachers. Turkey is still an important member of NATO, but its justice minister has warned the U.S. that relations could sour if it doesn't extradite Fethullah Gulen, the man Turkey says is to blame for the failed coup.